morning, everyone. Today, we're very lucky to be joined by another inspiration, considered to be one of the most influential voice of the new generation. And he believes in the power of dialogue, that it is very helpful in shaping our nation's future. He also has a strong and bold stance that the Philippines and China should not be at odds. Let's all welcome Daniel Long.
Hi, good morning, everyone. My name is Daniel Long. I'm 22 years old, turning 23 this year. I was a tourism and business management student. I am a writer for the Asian Century Philippines Institute think tank, and my articles are published in the Asian Century Journal. I am the regular moderator for their forums posted at the Global Talk News Radio YouTube channel, and I'm also part of the youth committee of the Association for Philippines China Understanding, the largest NGO for promoting people to people relations between Filipinos and the Chinese.
See, very, very impressive resume, no? In what year were you born, Daniel?
I was born in 2002.
2002?
Yes,
You're,
August.
you're only like 23 years old now.
Turning 23.
Only?
In August, I'll be turning 23.
And yet you are already a press delegate to China. Under what media outlet is it?
Yes, this was in June 2023. I was the one of the delegation, part of the media delegation to China. High level delegation. 11 days. I was representing Asian Century Journal. Our president, of course, is President Kamentong Herman Laurel. He is a veteran columnist and journalist.
Also a former, di ba? Was he former congressman?
No, but he ran for senator with
yeah.
the late Miriam Santiago in the late
Mm.
1990s.
Oo. Anong course ang natapos mo, Dan? You mentioned a while ago, sorry, I didn't grasp that.
Yes, I took tourism. Then I shifted to business management, which I'm still taking now, actually.
Oh,
I'm
you're
still taking. Yeah,
you're
I'm still
studying.
I'm still studying.
But how did you get involved into media?
I was this was back in 2023, early 2023. This was the start of medyo mainit na relations between the Philippines and China kasi nung biglang nag 180 to si President Marcos Jr. He expanded yung EDCA, 'di ba malaking issue yung EDCA, yung US bases. Then I met Kamentong Laurel doon sa kasi they were hosting a lot of forums doon sa Kamuning Bakery Cafe, Kamuning Bakery sa with Cesar Wilson Flores, and that's where I met the crew there, and I introduced myself. I told them I share your advocacies kasi Wilson is an alumni of mine. He is also in Grace Christian College. Alumni siya doon. School in Santo Domingo, near Santo Domingo. Actually, doon din nag-aaral si Alice Go for a while. Si Alice Go.
That's why your interest during the yung kainitan nung hearing niya, 'di ba? Sa Senate, because I would always see your post, and then until we became connected na parang you always share na nga yung tungkol kay Alice. I'm not really sure if it's really Alice Go or Cassie Ong.
Go.
Because you like Cassie Ong, no?
Yeah, she's of course she's very admirable, no, and she has the face card, that's what they say. But with Alice kasi, I was really disappointed what had happened to her because her case was used to generalize yung Filipino-Chinese community for as a whole. Kasi I remember during that time, especially nung last year, nung the peak of those hearings, the Senate hearings, no, about the life and yung activities ni Alice Guo, I would introduce myself na people, are you Chinese? Are you Filipino Chinese? Are you Chinoy? And they would follow up. Sometimes as a joke, sometimes seriously, spy ka ba? So that contributed a lot of the, fueled the, the hatred and the misunderstanding between Chinoys in the country.
Actually, the sad part there, yung tinatakal yung hearing, the sad part is actually the joke part. Diba? When it's very disrespectful as senators na when they ask her, ba Chinoy ka ba? Jowa mo ba si ganito? Yung halos hubaran na siya sa publiko na some take it as a joke, pero
for her, makikita mo yung awa ng tao nasa kanya, eh,
Yeah.
'di ba? That's how she won many hearts pagdating sa pagiging Pilipino niya. We all do not know ano talaga ang case. But to, yes, your term, to generalize it, dun talagang na-trigger din yung conflict,
Hmm.
and we don't know if it was intentional or
Mm.
what's your take?
Well, you're correct, no? Kasi ayaw ng Pinoy makikita ng isang tao na inaapi.
May inaapi.
Like
Oo.
underdog, you know, Filipinos
Yes.
flock to the
Oo.
underdog. So kahit na medyo questionable yung mga activities and medyo suspicious, for example, yung sinabi mo about yung nangyari kay kay Cassandra Ong dun sa congressional hearings. Pati yung sinishame niya. High school dropout. Sabi ng isang congressman,
Yes.
high school dropout ka, tapos naging company representative ka at this age. That's her path. That's her career path, diba? That's not unlawful,
Yeah.
diba? Yung hearings nyo is in aid of legislation. What legislation are you trying to do? Bullying?
Yeah. Yeah.
Diba?
True.
So,
Because you're a management graduate, you said.
no. Still
But
undergraduate.
you're
Still
taking
scholar.
management.
Yeah,
But
business.
your interest in the peace and security issues of this country and your stance in between the Philippines and China relationship, saan nanggagaling yun?
Yeah, number one, I'm Chinoy, no? I'm also
Okay.
Chinoy. My parents are ethnically Chinese, but they were born here. We come from the province of Guangdong. Our first language is Cantonese. So that yun yung language nila doon sa Hong Kong, sa Macau, ganun. And so first, it's an ethnic, consideration. But I consider myself Filipino. In fact, nga, we have a saying, tugong Chino, pusong Pilipino. Alright? So we have the heart of a Pinoy or a Filipino, but we have the blood of the Chinese. The second consideration is for good business, for good trade, and for prosperity, you need to have security first. You need to have, in order for there to be development, there must be peace and order, law and order. Kasi walang mangyayari if kawawa, for example, yung mga empleyado ng isang kumpanya, papasok sila sa trabaho, tapos, snatch sila. They'll be mag-hold up sila or magsa-snatch sila or papatayin sila, in some cases. So, it's in the interest of people who are, kasi pag Chinese, business-minded, kailangan talaga, you have a foundation talaga sa business. But the Chinese, ayaw talaga ng gulo. And this is why, I've said before, mas mainit, I would think, yung panahon ni President Duterte, yung about the politics. But I was never involved.
Why?
Because number one, I was younger. And number two, during that time, many people could afford to be apolitical. It's not that they don't care about what's happening in the country, but because the state was doing its job to protect our communities.
True.
Diba?
Yes.
So we could afford to be apolitical. Not apolitical in the sense that wala tayong pake. Pero the state was doing its job under President Duterte, keeping our communities safe, and we supported him for doing that.
And are you saying na ngayon wala yan?
Wala yan. My goodness. Kaliwat kanan ng kidnapping, ang snatching, ang pagpapatay, ng natutulak ng droga sa kalansangan, And I'll give you an example. Isang phenomenon. Dati, doon sa LRT, lalo na ng panahon ni Pangulong Duterte, yung mga tao nagba-backpack.
Yeah.
Diba? Ngayon, bumalik na yung phenomenon, front pack, nasa harap. Kasi takot sila na mabuksan yung, zipper or they'll get snatched, kunin yung wallet, kunin yung cellphone. Pati like minimum wage workers, I see. Lahat sila naga-front pack ngayon eh.
Napaka-basic ng observation na yon na people are somehow afraid of their security. No?
Yes.
Yung kalsada, hindi na natin pag-aaring muli.
Yeah. We
No?
don't, we don't own the streets anymore. The people used to, dati, yung mga kriminal takot. Yung mga addict takot. Ngayon, yung mga law-abiding citizens
Ang takot.
takot.
Yes.
So that's the problem. The other observation I can, anecdote or otherwise, I could say na bumalik talaga yung droga at yung krimen, wala na yung peace and order, is sa clubs. Party guy. Okay,
Yeah. I understand.
I go, we're young, we party a lot, we drink a lot. Dati kasi doon sa mga clubs, may mga na pumapasok sa mga club sa gabi at nagsisibilian sila, disguise.
Yeah.
So they will go there and check kung sino nagdodroga, kung sino. Ngayon wala naman ganyan. There's a very popular club nga na doon sila nagsesession. Balita ko. Diba?
Wait, these authorities, you mean?
No, the club before.
Mhm.
Before may inspection talaga. Wala na. It's free. You can free to do whatever you want there.
But does it bother you na wala na, or you just mind your own partying?
But it's sad lang because there is no, in this society like ours, we really need a culture of to impose a culture of fear against the criminals, to deter, to disincentivize. Pag wala kang ganyan, if it's too open, then we're not shielding our young people from these vices, diba?
So you're saying na hindi natakot ang mga criminals ngayon?
Ay, hindi. Hindi sila takot. Why? May
What?
kampi sila dun sa, palace.
So because we have a leader and his examples are being, adored by these criminal minds
Yeah.
and the criminals themselves,
Yeah.
no? At yun ang nakakatakot. I'm very proud to hear you as a Gen Z na ganyan yung outlook mo.
Hmm.
Because do you agree, or will you agree with me when I say na not most of the Gen Zs would have the same level of thinking?
Well, at least here in Manila, they don't have the same thinking as me. A lot of the, especially the college students, a lot of the Gen Z people. But what I noticed is once you begin to pick their brain, no, tatanungin mo sila about yung mga EJK, yung concern nila about yung mga China, yung West Philippine Sea. You pick your brain about the details about this subject. For example, yung EJK, tanungin mo sila, saan yung sources naman ng 30,000 na rin namatay? Or you pick your brain about the West Philippine Sea. Ano ba nawala sa atin nung panahon ni Duterte na para sabihin mo na pro-China si Digong? Wala. Total collapse yung ideology.
Hello, no?
It's a lot of them do it because it's the clout. For the clout, they're clout chasers, and they do it because yun yung trend. At ayaw nila ma-cancel sa mga, sa mga friends nila, peer pressure. So, and I don't blame them kasi a lot of these young people, mahirap And it's not like mahirap, like wala silang pera, pero inaalagaan mo na nila yung pagkain. So,
Sikmura.
yung sikmura, yung mga basic needs nila. So, they don't have time to research about this stuff like us, like we have the luxury. To add to that, no? But many Gen Z though, I see there's a mix Gusto nila if you look at the electoral results, if we are to believe na walang dayaan, if we are to look at the electoral results, yung top 5 senatorial balls, the winners, reflects the real priorities of the kabataan, of all of the people. Number 1, Bam Aquino, yung free college. At least that's the perception, diba? Inangkin nila yun. Si Marcoleta, kuryente. 85%, there's a Pulse Asia survey that found that for the residents of Metro Manila, 85% of their income or expenses go to electricity.
Yes.
Diba? So, galit sila sa Meralco. Daming brown, laro ng last year. 2 million brownout sa Metro Manila Pasig. Nagalit
Pero
yung
ang
mga
taas
tao.
pa rin ng
Taas
bill
pa
mo.
kuryente. May overcharging. Pati si Rizzo de Veros nagsasalita na about that. Tahimik siya dati. Diba? And
Umaray na rin.
Umaray na rin. And si Pongo, healthcare. That's also a concern for them. And here's the interesting thing. While they might posture and, virtue signal about EJKs like that, sila rin yung nakikinabang sa war on drugs ni Digong na panahon ni Digong Walang kidnapping. Daming nagsasnatch ng cellphone sa labas. Even in the urban cities, doon sa Makati, Salcedo, may mga ganyan. Dito din sa BGC, may mga motor, nag-snatch sila ng cellphone, mga friends ko. Marami nang ganyan cases. And so the problem now is how can we try to harmonize that? 'Di ba? Kasi may mga Gen Z na syempre gusto nila ng mga, you could say, socialist stuff, free college, free healthcare, yung mga ganyan. But at the same time, they are against Pangulong Duterte and sila Senator Bato for having
to
advocate yung tapang at yung kamay na bakal na policy. But secretly, they all want that. But
you say secretly they all want that. Why should it be kept a secret na you want something like that?
because it
Why?
goes against the
The
norm, the ideology
the
that
trend.
the trend we should be for human rights for all. Very idealistic, human rights for all, due process for the criminals and they put that on the same level. That's the ideal because that's very academic. That's what they learn in the universities
Mm,
and the schools. This woke perception that this woke approach to crime that we should prioritize harm reduction, rehabilitation, and not so much on the enforcement, diba? The more liberal. But um, they how they believe that.
not you mentioned, sorry, let me cut you.
Mm-mm.
You mentioned not you're not very interested much on the enforcement. But
Yes.
how do you achieve something na walang well-founded enforcement? Sa thinking ng isang Gen Z,
Uh,
paano yung ganon?
yes. Like to clarify also that this is their view. So I'm trying to
Yes, yes,
understand
yes.
where they're coming from. But my view naman is like this. You cannot have, for example, gusto nila ng ayuda, 'di ba? They want free stuff. But how can you get the free stuff? Paano mo mag-avail ng free stuff ng mga libreng bagay ng syempre paid for by taxpayers ng gobyerno if magko-commute ka to get the free stuff, saksakin mo, 'di ba? You
Oo,
know.
oo.
So I was talking to a friend of mine who's an FEU, pol sci student, no. And ano siya, pink siya. Pero we had like an exchange of ideas, and this is the result of our conversation is this: Bongo and Bato are associated with Duterte, tapak ang sakit, kamay na bakal, and they address crime itself. This is their view.
Yes.
They address crime itself, and how to fight it. For the perception of many Gen Z, Bam and Kiko, many of the Gen Z support them. They support them because while Bongo and Bato address the tackle crime itself, Bam and Kiko address to them the root causes of crime, which is the advocacy of Bam. The advocacy of Bam is kasi yung education. And yung advocacy ni Kiko this election is agriculture. So if you solve the two main problems for the people, food, and you give them education, that parang they see it as a compliment. Yun yung when you start to talk to them about it, many people talk to me, many Gen Z students from Adamson, for example, they voted for Bongo Bato, but Kiko and Bam also at the same time. So that for me shows that baka nga the results really are the true results, no, that they really reflect yung tao kasi like this is I can only speak for Luzon, diba?
Yes.
I can't speak for Mindanao, the youth
Yes.
from Mindanao. But here in
Yes.
Luzon, where I live, and these are all my peers, yun yung kind of thinking nila.
Okay, let's go back to the recently concluded midterm election.
Yeah.
They're saying because of the result that we have now, nakabalik ang yellow, nakabalik ang pink. Well, but we all know that it's just the same in one color, no?
Mhm.
Do you believe that really the youth this time around shaped the political landscape based on the result of the midterm election?
Yes, I do believe that. No, that's also the observation of Attorney Salvador Panelo, legal counsel of PRRT. Sinabi niya, maraming Gen Z na hindi nag-block voting. Kasi yun yung gusto namin, di ba? PDP, straight voting for Duterte to save. Many of them are like that. Marami namang kilalang ganyan. Pero siningit, like me, I
Because
see,
may dalawang butas eh.
yeah, I singit si Bam. And I
Yeah.
have to tell you, even though in-endorse ni VP Sara, and they all love VP Sara, yung mga friends ko, they love VP Sara. But di talaga nila masikmura si Biboto yung si Villar. Hindi talaga nakaya. Kasi yung perception nila kay
But
Villar.
Villar is young.
Yeah, she's young.
She could be representative of the youth.
Mm-mm. But yung
Pero bakit hindi sila nakarelate kay Camille?
perception kasi na Camille trapo kasi before pa mag-campaign meron mga daming poster na
Ang dami, no?
ingat sa
Grabe.
biyahe
Oh,
ganyan.
yeah.
Tapos yung issue sa Prime Water sa Bulacan, tapos yung meme na dati pa binabato sa nanay niya, yung Camela Homes, yung subdivision, yung ganyan, yung land grabbing. So she may be a good mother, I'm not questioning that, but for the perception of many of in my generation, she is out of touch, elitist. That's the view, and I find it hard to counter their perceptions of her. And that's the reason why. Actually, I also, full disclosure, I also opted for BAM. Got me a lot of trouble actually, but the reason why, I think this is also observation of a friend, si Ambassador, si Bobby Tiglao, Rigoberto Tiglao,
Yes.
so facing a ridiculous cyber libel case, no, about bribery or something. Sinabi niya, many people voted for Bam and Kiko simply because many people kasi, they're not on social media all the time. They don't know about the intricacies of the political feud. So, ang tingin nila, si Bam and Kiko, antithesis ni Marcos. Even though we know na may behind the scenes,
Is it because of the
Unipink.
Marcos and the Aquino, ne?
Yeah. Kasi, kasi like, universally, how many surveys have to come out na si Marcos, BBM, lame duck president at this point, he's not loved by the people. All sectors are disappointed with him. All sectors are not a fan of him. How can you go from 31 million votes to 25%, the latest one, negative 10% net trust rating?
That's so sad.
That's so sad.
And you're still there with the audacity to act as if you're still it
Oh.
for this country.
Kung ako ganyan, hindi ako I won't show my face outside kung ganyan yung situation.
Diba? And I'm not gonna leave the country. And then, parang present myself out there
Diba?
that on a global stage and lie to everyone that we're doing great.
Yeah.
How can you do great if your trust rating is this
Yeah.
low? Negative, diba?
Yeah, negative.
Oh.
And the funny thing about that is that all sectors don't like him. All sectors don't like him, in my opinion talaga. Because he just doesn't deliver. He doesn't deliver. I mean, many people were happy, Schadenfreude, that's what they say. Kaya na ayaw nila kay Marcos na mga pinks or yellows. Sinurrender niya si PRRD illegally doon sa ICC. Pero at the end, nagbago ba buhay nila? Did anything change? Diba? In fact, many of them, they say, wait lang. Lalo na yung mga kidnappings. So far, 12 kidnappings. Filipino-Chinese kidnappings. And I have to say, as a Chinoy, I really support what our friend Sas,
Yeah.
Braganto Sasot, the international relations scholar, was doing. When binoycott niya yung Federation of Philippine-Chinese Chamber of Commerce. Kasi, naglabas ng statement yung chairman nila, si Cecilio Pedro, may-ari ng Happy Toothpaste.
Yeah.
Tinanong siya, actually, it was outside the movie premiere. Nasa Fisher Mall, actually. Sabi ko, very near to me. He was asked by a reporter, what do you say about the arrest of PRD sa ICC? Kasi yung premiere na yun, few days after nung arrest, he was not thinking, first of all, corporate. You're speaking for the federation.
Yeah.
Stay out of politics.
Hmm.
Diba? Kaya pinalitan niya, that's what I think. Wala na siya dun eh. Ngayon, ibang na yung may-ari. Iba na yung chairperson ngayon. The other thing is, I have to say, as a Chinoy, many of the Chinoy elites do not speak for me. Kasi, sinabi ni Pedro, as Federation Chair, na, ginagawa lang ni BBM ang trabaho niya. Walang utang na loob. Diba? Ang laki ng kita ninyo, ng Chinese businesses, kami, sa, ni PRRD. Kasi we had a good relationship with the Chinese government. Ngayon, actually, the Chinese government condemned. It's the only government in the world that condemned the surrender and arrest of PRRD to the ICC.
这是一个重要的突发事件，中方注意到有关消息，并正在密切关注事态发展。我想重申，中国一贯主张国际刑事法院应严格遵循补充性管辖原则，依法审慎行使职权，避免政治化和双重标准。
I was waiting for the US. Walang statement. Russia, wala.
Hanggang ngayon, we were actually expecting Trump to at least release a statement about it, no? Kasi before that, na-hype na yung friendship between the two, Trump and PRRD. But wala eh.
Naglalabi kami. I have to reveal this now, Miss Pam and the audience. I have to reveal this now. We tried to lobby for it. Bumili pa ako ng MAGA hat, yung red hat ni Trump. Tapos, we tried to get Trump's attention. Hindi nangyari. Bakit? Yun pala, yung DFA, parang yung Secretary of State, yung Foreign Affairs Secretary ni Trump, si Marco Rubio, ngayon, siya yung nag-file ng bipartisan resolution as a senator in 2017 during the Trump administration accusing Duterte of 20,000, yung 20,000, 30,000 killings. So,
Oo.
nagsanib presa sa mga Democrats, sa mga liberal, mga deep state, para i-demonize si PRRD. In fact, they even filed another resolution to block arms sales to the Philippines. Sila Marco Rubio. So, siya, yung Secretary of Foreign Affairs ni Trump ngayon. So, wag na tayo mag-umasa kay Trump. Okay? Trump himself is not the problem. Pero yung mga aligid niya, sa paligid niya, mga against kay Digong eh. So,
So is Trump making another BBM in himself na making a promise of false peace given this, you think?
I think Trump has more fighting spirit in him to say no. To say no and say, to assert,
Will the US bring us into a situation na we would later on regret? The war between China and Taiwan.
I,
With the creating the Philippines as a battleground given the increasing number of EDCA sites that we have.
yes. Well, something positive happened under when Trump took office. Yung Typhoon missile system,
Mm-hmm.
which people say is nuclear capable, was formerly placed sa Ilocos?
Yes.
Sa Ilocos?
Up north.
Oh, it
yes.
was up north. Very facing Taiwan, no?
Yes.
Very near to Taiwan, facing Taiwan. It was relocated. Not to the north anymore. It's a bit further away. So, hindi na, pointed towards Taiwan.
But the fact that we have that here means to say that we are getting ready with something.
They're setting the theater.
Yes.
Yes, they're setting the theater.
Yes.
Yung mahirap kay Trump is, may sinabi siyang medyo insulto about the Philippines. He described the Philippines sa isang airplane interview. Prime real estate.
Oh.
Our country is not a battleground for you to to serve as a strategic, base for your ambitions. Kasi this is simple eh. What's missing from the conversation about the West Philippine Sea, South China Sea? And again, I personally, I condemn all of the aggressive actions undertaken by China, but I put them in the context of what is happening, which is a territorial dispute. It's not just China who is a party to the territorial disputes, but it's also other countries like Vietnam and Malaysia. So in light of that, and also in light of the fact that China is acting defensively. This is what Professor Nemenzo of UP and Professor Walden Bello, actually yellow siya, but he gave a very objective analysis. He wrote in the Inquirer that people forget China's actions should not be understood in a vacuum, especially in the South China Sea or West Philippine Sea. It should be understood in light of the fact of the US's foreign policy called the pivot to Asia. In 2009, the plan was to shift 60% of US military and naval resources from the Middle East to China, to the Pacific, to counter China. In fact, the language of Obama was to surround China and try to get ASEAN. Pero bokya, because ASEAN is interested in peace and development. They have the zone of peace, neutrality, and freedom, and they also have the nuclear-free zone. And they don't want the US to militarize the region because it causes instability, diba? But what is the interest of the US in intervening in the Philippines vis-a-vis the South China Sea dispute? Number one, positioning. We are in what is called the first island chain.
Yeah.
So we are the first line of defense for the US to counter China in the event that the US would want to go to war against China when they retake
Are
Taiwan.
we capable?
No, I think we are just like an unsinkable aircraft carrier to them. Because if you think about it, we're the only country in Southeast Asia with US military bases rent-free. We don't pay rent. Japan is paying them rent for their bases, but we
So why did Bongbong allow it? Why did he allow it? Na free rent.
well, we know that based on
Has
the,
he any interest in this dealing with the US? You think?
alam mo, Kamentong Laurel used to say, kasi personal friend siya ni Imelda eh, every time na magkikita sila mga meeting, every time Kamentong mentions America, nagaganyan si Imelda. Tatatakot sila. And Imelda's personal lawyer said, Jerry Spence, he said that the largest base of CIA, meaning mga spies, is in the Philippines, number one. Number two, Marcos Jr. is betraying what his parents started. And I can share this, no? Last year in May 2024, we were at the sa Forbes Park. It was the opening of the new Chinese cultural center, or the chancery of the Chinese embassy. Pumunta si Imelda. It was also the commemoration of her 50th of the 50th anniversary of her first visit to China,
China.
meeting Mao Zedong.
Mhm.
Nung piniplay yung video ni Imelda and Mao Zedong, and you can see Bongbong, young Bongbong was there. Very solemn yung mukha ni Imelda, very ganun siya. If you think about it, Bongbong wasted so much capital kasi his mother and him, he is the only world leader alive today who has ever met Chairman Mao.
Yes.
Mao Zedong. That's not everyone has that experience. And Chairman Mao actually kissed the palm of Imelda.
Mhm.
So that's an opportunity for you to
With admiration.
Yes. They don't just do that, diba?
Yes.
And everywhere Imelda goes, she's bragging na yung husband niya, si Marcos Sr., yung tatay ni Bongbong. Yung one of the first, I'm quoting verbatim, one of the first things that Marcos Sr. did was to kick out the bases to Subic and Clark.
Yeah.
One of the first things. Second thing is, in Imelda's, one of her homes, yung pinakamalaking picture or sa bahay nila, picture niya with Mao. So they really place great importance in their legacy in improving relations with China, at the same time distancing themselves from America, from their war plans. I have a bit of a chismis. This was in 1960s, no? Senator Kit Tatad, he was the former Minister of Information. Siya nga yung nag-announce ng martial law eh. He was the youngest cabinet member. Lyndon Johnson, US President, went to the Philippines, 1960s. And what happened? Nandun yung mga ibang Asian leaders. May pinasa yung US ata, yung whatever delegation, isang papel to Marcos Sr. asking them, sasali ba kayo sa Vietnam War during that time? Tumindig si Marcos Sr. Sinabi niya, Filipinos will not fight fellow Asians. Very strong.
Oh, so why are we seeing ourselves fighting a fellow Asian? Or disagreeing to a fellow Asian?
In my view talaga, I think this is because of the hidden wealth. And I think this is what also was written in the book of Attorney Vic, no? In the Kingmaker. It was also written. Na-late sila. Tumawag yung US muna kay Bongbong.
Yeah.
Before yung Chinese ambassador. Pinagalitan nga daw si Huang doon sa Beijing eh.
Kasi ba't nahuli? Oo.
Kasi,
Oo.
alam mo naman yung kasi we all know, Bongbong has like a 300 something $million contempt
Frozen.
judgment. Contempt judgment muna in Hawaii.
That became a very hot issue during his very first trip sa UNGA sa New York.
Yes.
No, nung 2022.
Yeah, like he was only able to set foot in the United States because of diplomatic immunity. You know, in my opinion talaga, that Bongbong Marcos shifted his foreign policy to favor the US, a complete 180. Because now is the perfect time for him to recover those frozen assets, which are in the amount of hundreds of millions at the very least.
The pivot kasi started pagkabalik niya from New York. Diba? And that was the time also when SAS started to question anong nangyari. And everyone else, because of SAS, Rogando Sasot's influence, everyone now got awakened sa kanilang knowledge. Oh nga, anong nangyari? Ang sabi mo, friends to all,
enemies to none.
Enemies to none. And then here you are, fresh from New York, na biglang, ayoko na, dito na ako sa US. You mentioned a while ago, no? He could have taken leverage or advantage of the mom's relationship with China ngayon, and now he's losing capital. When you speak of capital, do you mean to say political capital?
Yes.
Okay.
Political and diplomatic capital.
Okay, political and diplomatic capital. Let me transition you to a topic.
Okay.
No? When you say that Marcos is losing his political capital, isn't the same now happening to VP Sara?
No.
Facing now, because, I just want to, parang ilatag ko lang,
Okay.
Given that VP Sara now has like a lot of issues with her na she's gonna be tried soon because of the impeachment case. And then the name Duterte is kind of tarnished somehow because, PRRD is
In The
the
Hague.
same sa Hague, no? Is this going to be a problem for VP Sara in the next 3 years?
No, I don't think
These
so.
issues.
I don't think so. I don't think um, Vice President Sara and even PRRD will suffer irrelevance, or I don't think their name or their political capital is lost. Because number one, I'm very impressed now. I'm very optimistic, especially with the results of the latest Post Asia survey that was conducted a few days before the election and released yesterday. No, that showed that 63% of Filipinos trust PRRD. 63%. And
The
VP
highest,
Sara,
no?
yeah, 50%. And this is all the more amazing when you think about the fact that they have been subjected to a multi billion peso demolition campaign.
Yes.
You don't just survive that. Number one, survive that, and number two, be on the be ahead of the incumbent. At this point, mainstream media doesn't even cover the anomalies and the corruption going on the going being done under the Marcos administration. Tahimik sila.
Okay,
Tahimik
question.
sila.
Another thing na gusto kong ilatag, not because I am anti-Duterte. I am a fan and a believer of the Duterte style of management. You all know that by now. Gusto ko lang kasing mapigaba yung how the Gen Z would address issues like this. And I'm so far very impressed that our dear friend Daniel Long here is doing a very, very good job, no? Question. Do you believe in surveys? Because the survey that
Mm,
we are referring now, Pulse Asia survey, did not fare well during the midterm election
mm.
because hindi nila na-forecast kung sino yung mga lalabas na top 12. It was
Publicus.
publicus of Prof.
Malutikia.
Malutikia
Yeah.
who was able to forecast that Kiko and Bam could, and it happened, make it to top 12.
Mm.
So now that we are, just because ba na maganda ang resulta and it's favoring the Dutertes, do we believe now that Pulse Asia is a credible survey firm?
Well, the difficulty with surveys is that it you have to check first now if it's overrepresenting a certain sector or if it's underrepresenting a certain sector. I tend to trust yung Pulse Asia because their surveys were conducted a few weeks before the election.
Yeah.
But a lot of things happened which the survey did not cover during the period of the week before the election. And the latest survey yesterday did not no longer conducted a survey talking about the people's preferences. Because if you like what you said, you're correct now. Even the two Tulfos were top three.
Yes.
Laglag yung isa.
Pacquiao also.
Pacquiao also.
Diba? Willie Revillame.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think
Bong Revilla.
I believe the last minute endorsements of INC and the last minute endorsements of VP Sara, and also generally last minute research from people. Diba? A lot of people just do last minute research. Kasi a good friend of mine told me that most people on average they shade 6 to 8 lang. 6 to 8 sa ballot. So I think they go for who is popular or they go for those who name recall. But I think it was an upset election in the sense that a lot of people who we expected to win did not win. The senators, if we are to believe the results, if there was no dayaan, no, if we are to assume systems normal, diba? But to answer your question, are surveys reliable? It would depend on how it was conducted, when it was conducted, and whether or not certain groups were underrepresented. Kasi may lumabas ng survey na talagang kalokohan. Yung survey from the Center for Student Initiatives that found 87% or more than almost 90% of college students support the impeachment of VP Sara. The sample was like this: 45% balance Luzon, 45% Luzon. Sorry, 10% from Visayas, 5% from Mindanao, and 85% from the other 85% was from Luzon, and 45% of that is from NCR. So that's not an accurate. How you
Yes.
will get the real pulse of the college students, university students across the country of whether or not they support the impeachment of Vice President Sara if you're underrepresenting Mindanao and Visayas like that,
True.
diba?
How can you be up there losing the votes of Vismin
Yes.
without the votes of Vismin?
Oh,
No?
oh.
Because Luzon does not comprise the whole of the voters. May
Yes.
numbers ang Mindanao,
Yeah.
may numbers ang Visayas.
Mm.
Okay, I speak now about numbers. Yung lumabas na tao sa Mindanao during the was it the birthday of PRRD, March
Yes.
28? Yung ang daming tao na lumabas.
300,000.
300,000. Um, were those one of the protest votes? That-
Yes. Yes, protest votes. But I would
Bato and Bongo
Yes.
to top the
Yes.
election result.
I would like to challenge the idea of some people, some bloggers na protest votes equal straight vote. I disagree. I really disagree.
Mm.
When people say protest votes, they're correct. First observation is they vote for those who are aligned with Duterte
Mm.
or with Duterte or endorsed with Duterte. But
But-
it doesn't mean a straight vote. Like in every candidate of endorsed by Duterte, they're gonna vote for.
Sino bang ayaw mo sa Duterte?
Ha? Well, according to Attorney Panelo, hindi din siya nag-vote ng 10, 5 lang daw eh.
Mhm.
For him, 5 lang daw.
Mhm.
So, I'll keep that a secret for now. Well, people know my choices. Available naman sa Facebook. But I'd like to say this, no? Maybe just a message to the Gen Z. Kasi yung survey din, there was a survey also released yesterday from Tanjire that found that si Lenny and si Sara, yung top candidates for the 2028 election. Many Gen Z, this is the message I would like kasi this is a blind spot pa for them. But when I explain to many of the people who are genuinely asking me, why do you support Sara? What's with her? As a Gen Z, why do you support Sara? I would really have to, kasi galing ako UP kahapon eh. I would really have to say what she has done to shield us, the young people, from being groomed to become terrorists. Because it's about the confidential funds. Many of these college activists and many college students, they don't like Sara and they want her impeached because of the confidential funds. But they don't know the story behind it. Simple way I present to my peers is this. The CPP and NDF they are a terrorist group which has claimed the lives of 50,000 Filipino civilians, soldiers, and police. Okay? Through terrorism, even the internal purges, pinapatay nila yung mga sarili ng member, suspected of being, government agents. And they collect revolutionary tax. They extort them from the poorest of the poor. They kill the people they claim to be fighting for. Now, these CPP, many of these young people in universities, they start off joining these left-wing activist groups like Kabataan Party List, Anak Bayan Party List, Gabriela, League of Filipino Students, and many of them end up later joining the terrorists. Namumuntok na, dun sa mountains na. So what did VP Sara do? People say kasi Sara militarized the DepEd. Ba't mo militarize yung DepEd?
Kailangan.
Civilian agency yan, ba't mo and this is how I explain it. There are 6 to 7 million elementary and high school students. Diba? And DepEd is the largest government bureaucracy, has the largest number of employees, 810,000 employees. And if you look at in Metro Manila, at least in NCR, there are 16 public schools that we know of that are engaging in recruitment. So Sara wants to combat and
Yes.
stop this trend of NPA recruitment. Kasi since 2010, 500 young people that we know of have been recruited to become child warriors for the NPA, wasting their lives, dying for a violent ideology. Meanwhile, yung mga leaders nila, itong mga CPP leaders, yung mga anak nila, pinapaaral sa Lasal, pinapaaral doon sa abroad, sa Europe, and they don't send their own children to fight in the armed struggle, pero they want many of my peers, young people, to go there and fight and die for useless and violent ideology. So Sara wants to shield us young people from this extremist violent ideology and stop us dying for this. But how can she achieve that without confidential funds and will be used to surveillance because security is not free or cheap for surveillance, for spying, for information gathering. And if these confidential funds, how they were spent, were publicized or made transparent as what the youth wants, then it would compromise the very mission that Sara is trying to achieve by
Yes.
fighting this NPA.
Yes.
and they know na paano sila paano sila tina-target, 'di ba? And that's what I want. And also the audit findings from the Commission on Audit. It's funny because a lot of
It
people,
should hold
they
bearing.
should hold bearing. Wala naman silang there's no judgment of plunder against VP Sara for plunder for the confidential funds. In fact, the representative of COA, si Attorney Gloria Camora, she testified under oath in Congress that there was documentary evidence that there is that confidential funds were spent by Sara in line with the rules and regulation. And you know, when I explain this to many of my young people, they real to the young people, they understand. They understand because there's really a misunderstanding there. The final thing is, I explained to them this. You all praise Lenny Robredo, rightfully, because she received 4 consecutive years of
Oh,
unmodified opinion or the highest audit
yes,
rating from the
yes.
Commission on Audit. That's the appeal, anti-corruption. VP Sara received the same unmodified
And yet,
opinion from DepEd and OVP, and yet you don't recognize and you don't give her credit. And even though, more than that, DepEd achieved for the first time an unmodified opinion under her,
yes, true,
diba?
true.
So,
Actually, that's the scary and the sad part, no? When you mentioned na yung argument ng youth sector, yung ilalim niya, yung foundation niya, hollow, 'di
hmm.
ba? Yung kapag meron kang magandang bato sa kanila and they cannot rebut, collapse na sila.
Name calling,
Yes.
pro-China ka,
Yes,
traitor,
yes,
fanatic.
yes.
It's all hypocritical. Okay, let's not be hypocrites here. I am biased. We are all partisan, but we have to be objective and we have to be fair. You know, I never deny. I'm not a hypocrite. I'm not a hypocrite. I say, oh, I'm not biased. I am non-partisan. I'm independent. I don't say that. For me, I don't say that. I say yes. I am for the Dutertes. Yes, I am for their brand of tapang and malasakit na
Yes.
governance.
Yes.
But at the same time, I'm fair to the opposition. I see where people are coming from, and I interpret what they say and their beliefs in the best way possible. I don't put words in people's mouth. So I would and I argue in good faith. I assume that the other is talking to me and being honest with themselves and not being disingenuous.
Mhm.
So I try my best to be objective and fair and listen to the other side of the story. And I hope that they would also listen to the other side of the story. Because as you said, how you introduced me earlier, I like to foster dialogue. Kasi
Yeah.
pag sa Chinese, ayaw namin ng gulo eh. Ayaw namin ng gulo. And ayaw namin ng away. Kaya nga, the best way to summarize why we should be in friendship with the Philippines and China and not let the territorial disputes define the two countries' relationship is this. We have a Filipino saying, makipag-away ka sa,
Lasing, wag lang
makipag-away ka sa, wag, wag ka lang magkipag-away sa kapitbahay, something like that.
because yun nga, yung kayo yung magtutulungan eh.
Yeah.
Kayo yung, parang sa magkapatid, you have to be each other's best friends until the end.
Better a close friend than a distant relative, di ba?
Exactly my
Yeah.
point. Kasi kayo talaga yung magtutulungan. May mangyari sa'yo, ang panghingi mo ng saklolo, sa kapitbahay mo.
Yes,
di
yes,
ba?
yes, yes.
That's why you have to keep the peace and the dialogue and the diplomacy present there.
Mm.
But yeah, it shifted already. Bongbong Marcos foreign policy of friends to all and
Yeah.
enemies to no one, hindi na mangyayari.
Yeah. And I'm really thankful how you introduced me earlier. The
Sabi ko nga
Daniel
kanina.
Long really is for the spirit of dialogue. Because I've experienced cancel culture by my peers,
Oh.
by the young people.
Own
Especially
peers?
by my own peers, by the people halos same table kami nainom. We drink at the same table kami sa party, sa club, nag-umiinom ng and then we know them, mga acquaintance, nakikita ko sila every week sa bar, pero kinakancel nila kung ano sinasabi. But it doesn't, I'm not deterred by that. I'm not kahit na yung mga supporters ni Bam, kinakancel ako, binabalahura ako, it doesn't matter to me. I remain objective. I remain fair to them because and I this is the team. I would like to, that's my, I in my view, that's my niche, to contribute a spirit of dialogue in the age of cancel culture, especially this is so rampant among the youth. Konting lang, cut off ng pamilya, cut off ng kamag-anak, cut off ng friend. Hindi normal yun eh. So you really have to let friendships be friendships and don't let friendships be defined by your politics, by your differences. And that's the same way I also view foreign relations. Every country has differences, diba? But we should not let those differences define us. We should focus on the 99%. In fact, ironically, yun yung sinabi ni Bongbong Marcos eh. Before, you know, we should not let the 1% define the 99%, the 1% of differences define the 99%. And in this society, we are all partisan, we are all divided. But in order to maintain this stable, healthy, democratic, environment, we should listen to both sides. We should listen to both sides. We should assert, be firm on our principles. We should resist violence. We should resist cancel culture. We should listen to both sides. And if we disagree, we still are friends, but we don't cut each other's throats for.
I'm very grateful for your time today and for for gracing my new new podcast, no,
Yeah.
with your knowledge and your presence like that na at such a young age. Eh,
Ngayon, gurang na ako eh.
parang veterano na yung nagsasalita.
I learned from the best eh. I learned
Yes.
from the best.
You know, you are who you surround yourself with.
Yeah, I'm so
diba?
blessed to have so many great mentors. I have to say this, no, just a shameless plug. Attorney Vic Rodriguez, who I voted for, no, and I will always be loyal and supportive of him, whatever his political career will be. Attorney Vic Rodriguez, I was a nobody. I was not as popular as I was now. Back then, it was June last year. I met Attorney Vic in Angeles, Pampanga, in the Maisog rally. And I just introduced myself. I'm Daniel Long. I write for this. I moderate this, like this, that. And we got him into the anti-war, anti-US talks, right?
Sa Cebu, was
In
it in
Cebu, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But I was the one that connected myself. I connected him and that movement with Sila Sir Pete and
And you
everyone.
became friends since.
Yeah. What I will never forget was this. A few days after I met him, there was an incident in the South China, yung naputulan ng daliri,
Yeah.
yung last water
Yes,
cannoning
yes.
incident. I wrote that article summarizing the event, and I shared it to Ardoni Vic via Viber. The next day, he had an interview with Ka Eric sa SMNI.
Yeah.
He said the same.
Yes.
He referenced my article,
Yes.
and yung war on corruption,
So, kinilig ka?
Oh, and sure, kinilig syempre. Kasi,
Oo.
and look, many people are like that. I'm not gonna name any names, no, pero true wisdom is not found by, is not with, that's true wisdom, eh. Sino ba ako? Who's Daniel Long? This is Attorney Vic Rodriguez, the third, at one point, the third highest, he the third highest position in government, and he's listening to some Chinoy kid who is very noisy.
I think you already answered my supposedly next question, no? Yung are your takes because of your beliefs or it is what you're asked to say or do or write? But I seeing you
Oh
now.
no, I'm very independent.
Yes,
I
yes.
I am at much liberty to say and believe whatever I want because I'm not paid to, well, syempre there's compensation for the writings and
Yes,
everything,
yes, yes.
but no, I am not motivated by any financial, any motivation to believe the things I believe or to write the things I write. It's just that I developed these things through my own research, to learning from those elders who came before me, and be surrounded by very good mentors, especially with Kamentong Laurel, Herman Laurel, and of course with all of the many of sila. Even I am also inspired by the vloggers.
I also believe that because the quality of your work is always because of the amount of heart you put in it. Hindi siya maganda kung wala siyang puso.
Yeah.
Hindi rin siya maganda kung isinubo lang sa'yo or isinaksak lang sa isip mo yung ito dapat ang isulat
Spoon
mo.
feed.
Oo, dapat may puso.
Hmm.
If you give it your heart, it will always result to something of quality kagaya ng meron ka. Before we end, I'd like to ask you, no, I mentioned a while ago of the protest votes and the youth votes. Do you see them merging or
A lot of overlap.
or opposing in the next 3 years until we are in that next presidential election?
Okay. At this point, the last elections, there was an overlap. There was an overlap of the protest votes, those for Duterte and those of the youth. Many of those who voted for Bam or Kiko also voted for Bongo and Bato. Like I said, because and even Marcoleta,
Mm-hmm.
because they favor, if you look at look at the surveys, Filipinos want basic things, eh. Cheap electricity,
Healthcare,
healthcare,
education, food.
low crime rates, food. That's the perception of Kiko. I didn't vote for him, but that's the perception. Um, but in 2028, no. I think we will be back to 2022, like.
Oh.
But we will be back to 2022, where it will be very partisan, and the battle lines will be really drawn in 2028, the next election. Kasi if they run Risa, they will all of the young people who might have been overlapping
Yeah.
vote straight. That will not be a protest, so that will be a consolidation.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, we will consolidate around Sarah and whoever she chooses to be the running mate, right? So, and of course, there will be those who will merge the group I mentioned, the uh, the overlap, but it will be very marginal. That's my forecast.
You said that it's gonna be another 2022 like type of campaign in the 2028.
It will be hyper partisan.
Yes, okay. Your generation is born in the era of technology. How will technology now contribute to the 2028 political landscape?
We have to maintain our presence in the social media platforms.
But how if they are trying to police everyone?
Yes, and we have to fight for free speech, because free speech and freedom of speech, not just in the, to speak whatever we want, period, but also our control of the, not control, or our presence in the social media platforms. SAS was recently, our friend SAS was recently, his page was taken down, suspended.
Unpublished nga
Yeah,
yata.
Tio Moreno can't publish for days. Joey was Joey DeViver, Joey Cruz, good friend of ours, was suspended for a while, and then good thing she got her account back. So we have to maintain our presence in the platforms, because that's why they were censoring these vloggers and trying to intimidate them.
Because we're winning the game.
Because we're winning. Very simple, quotable quote by me. If we were not winning, their censorship and their propaganda would not be necessary. Okay? So that's why. We have to maintain our, because what are the yellows trying to say? Sila Maria Ressa, right? They're telling Facebook to uh use social media to gatekeep social media. Sila ba may monopoly sa katotohanan? Ang kapal na mukha. Cyber libel convicts do not have the monopoly on truth. And with that, I think my final message would be to say, keep we should we are really engaged in, because we don't fight with arms, we don't fight with violence, we use our words, like our hero Dr. Jose Rizal, the pen, he used the pen, and our fingers and our words on social media, that's the new pen, and we should fight that, and we're winning that. So we should maintain our hold on that, and make sure that if they take us down, make new pages. If they take us down, if they suspend us, make new pages, make alternative accounts. We should not lose that, because it's a vacuum. If we are out of the scene, if we keep quiet, if we get silenced or allow ourselves to be silenced, to be chilled, then the enemy wins. And remember, they're losing now, but we don't have the machinery of ayuda and billions of pesos and vote buying and all that. So that's a cause for optimism going to 2028 elections.
Daniel, your message to the new set of Congress.
My new set of the Congress. Well,
the Senate and the HOR.
To our new senators and our new congressmen, you were given them an overwhelming, some of you, mandate by the people. If we are to assume systems normal and there's no dayaan, you were given that mandate. Sakyan natin yung sinabi ni BBM, kaya na hindi totoo or he didn't mean it, na wag na tayo mamumulitika. Do your job, okay? Do your job, represent your constituents. Stop these useless investigations in aid of elections. You are not a court, you are not NBI, hindi ka investigator to quote PRRD. Just, create laws for the benefit of the general welfare of the people. Do not allow yourselves to be dictated by someone who wants to be president but is only sticking to someone who is a lame duck president and rapidly losing popularity. Because in the end, Sarah, when she becomes president, God willing, she's taking names now. So, pag pumalimbing kayo sa kanya, dead ma siya sa inyo.
Everyone, that's Daniel Long, and would like to thank you for joining the GC. Great conversations.
Thank
Daniel
you.
Long, Pusong Pinoy, Dugong Chinoy.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you.